I feel for the people. I mean, I read the tweets, I see them on the news. I know that people are really challenged right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. You have uncertainty on the health side, and now you've got uncertainty on the financial side. That's a perfect storm. And so we're going as fast as we can. There's people that are here working literally 22 hours a day, and then they lay down and they get an hour sleep, and then they're back at it. And it's everybody here is tremendously focused on getting payments out as quickly as we can to Floridians.
I know you probably cannot provide a time frame for people on when they can expect their first payment based on when they applied, but what advice would you have for those people who are receiving the pending or the active notices and just don't know what that means?
Right. So a couple things. So I can understand it's that unknown. You want some certainty, but what I also don't want to do, and this is where Governor DeSantis has given me a lot of leeway, is we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. And secondly, it's really important that we be transparent with what we're accomplishing every day, and that's why we've put a dashboard of what's pending and what's in process at floridajobs.org. We've got a lot of backlog. We've never seen this volume before. It's a perfect storm, as I use that example a lot. And so the only thing I can tell folks out there is that there are thousands of state employees working on this every single day. We're all rowing. We're all in the same boat. We're all rowing in the same direction. We all have friends and family who are challenged with delays in the unemployment processing. We are putting all the resources we have toward fixing this and fixing it quickly.
One question I've received a lot of is people who say they applied for benefits in early March. People who they know applied after them are getting the payments, but they're not. Is there any explanation for them as to why that may be happening?
I don't know, other than there have been a couple of instances where I've talked to folks who may have not responded as quickly as they should to perhaps identity verification things. But this process is a sequential process, and as long as we have all the information, it should be processed sequentially. There are only typically delays when we either have inaccurate information or we don't have the complete information.
What is the status with the proposal for retroactive pay?
That will come out today. So Governor DeSantis has been a terrific partner. He's an excellent chief executive. He has given me the authority to marshal all of the resources of the state to fix this problem, and he's willing to take action to cut bureaucracy and cut the red tape. So we're going to be implementing a rule today, an agency rule, which will allow retroactivity back to March 9th.
Anybody who lost their job March 9th or later,
yes,
depending on when they got the application.
Right. So we've had problems at the state level with the application process. That's due to no fault of Floridians. We're going to honor those applications as of a date of March 9th if they were unemployed on that date. That's when our system started to have problems.
Another big question I'm getting is from independent contractors, self-employed, not eligible for state benefits, but are possibly eligible for the $600 CARES Act money. How do they apply, and when can they start applying?
They will go through the same process that somebody would for the state unemployment process. They can go to floridajobs.org and find our application portal there, and they would go through the same process to apply for those federal benefits as well.
So there will not be a different portal just for them. They will.
Yeah, they can start doing that right now, but we'll have some formal communication on those processes late today or tomorrow.
Awesome. And I want to make sure I'm understanding this because I know there's still a lot of confusion. Those independent contractors, self-employed, will be eligible for the $600 a week from the federal government on top of up to $275.
It's the greater of $275 or their declared wages or wages that we verify.
Okay, so the $600 plus is
correct.
Make sure. For people who were receiving RA and have exhausted their benefits, but under CARES will get an additional 13 weeks, how will that work for them?
That'll go through this. They just need to go through the same process. And if they've already applied for RA, and they're still remaining unemployed, then that will continue.
Just get back into Connect and see where you stand.
Yeah, and right now they'll just be notified automatically of when those things will happen. They don't necessarily need to go into Connect, and that's one of the other things that Governor DeSantis has done is he's waived the recertification requirement. So previously, and other times, people would have to go back into the system and recertify that they remain unemployed. Do that every 2 weeks. The governor has waived that requirement. So for the time being, people do not need to go back into Connect to reaffirm that they remain unemployed.
I have received just overwhelming emails, voicemails, people who are trying to get answers from me because they're having a tough time reaching your folks. What would you say to those people who are just worried and they just want an answer, even if it's bad news?
So a couple things. In information, I believe information is power. So the first thing, floridajobs.org we've recently put a resource guide, and we put frequently asked questions out there. As we see different types of questions that may not be individual claimant specific, we're adding to those resources. And so if people have general questions, a great way to do that is go to floridajobs.org and find those two items. It's the resource guide and the FAQ. And then if they have specific questions about their claim, just be patient. Yesterday, we received 400,000 phone calls. Interestingly, about 70,000 of those were unique. So it's the problem. People get on, they're on hold for a while, they hang up, and then they call back. So it's unprecedented call volumes. Just be patient. As we issue more and more checks every day, we think folks will be able to take a breather and it'll allow us to catch up.
Any other big point you want to get across, a misconception you're seeing that people have about how this system is working?
No, we take it. We have to. This is. I use the example of this is a Daytona 500. We occasionally have to take the system in for pit stops. We have huge amounts of data that we have to share with the federal government and other verifying sources, and we typically do that overnight. So you might have somebody that tries to log on at 10 o'clock at night, and we would display a message that we're processing payments. That's because that's what we're really doing. We are seeing 50 to 75,000 connections at any given time during the business day, maybe from 8 or 8:30 in the morning through 8 at night. But after those times, that 12-hour window when it's dark out, that system is processing transactions so we can get people paid as quickly as we can.